If you've got a pet gun dog, you've probably been told that they need constant stimulation when outside. So walks are busy, play is busy, everything is pretty much busy and you're always on the go. Then when you actually want to sit down, they're just doing your head in. But for a lot of gun dogs, never learning how to do nothing is exactly why they can't switch off outside, or anywhere for that matter. It's no secret that our gundog breeds are often overmanaged outdoors, constantly having to pull them back on a long line, always finding things that they shouldn't, constantly having to pull them back on a short leash when they're pulling excessively. I can guarantee that there's a lot of you out there that are pretty much reliant on having your dog have a ball in its mouth in order to get it to cope around different triggers. Or you have to be quite reliant on it because they're going to be constantly nagging you over and over and over again for that ball or your attention. For some reason, in this day and age, having our gundog breeds constantly do something seems to be the norm when it really shouldn't be. What should be the norm is our dogs being dogs, and more importantly, the ability to just do nothing outdoors. Now, a lot of dog owners probably will try and avoid this because it feels pointless or lazy, or they might have a fear of boredom and their dog becoming frustrated, which for a lot of you sat at home right now, I can imagine that your dog doing nothing is pretty much non-existent. I bet you'd love for your dog to be able to do this, and it is absolutely possible. I am going to show you, but first of all, we need to understand why it's so important for our gun dogs. So what does doing nothing actually mean? It doesn't mean drilling sits over and over again, and it definitely does not mean flooding your dog with cues. All it means is your dog just existing calmly, watching the world go by and just observing what is going on around them. And for all you Brits out there that love going to the pub, this is pretty important. I'm now going to demonstrate what I would do in order to introduce this to my dog and get them to practice doing nothing. Important key factors is I would pick somewhere that, you know, is relatively calm. There's not really that much going on around you, because if you do try and do this in a busy park or place where there's a lot going on, chances are your dog's going to struggle significantly. Another major key factor that's going to massively help you out here is making sure you've got your dog on a leash. If they were off lead, your dog most likely will be darting and dicking about like a headless chicken. So make sure you've got them on a leash so that you can control that variable. So what I'm going to do is I'm pretty much just going to sit here. I've got my leash, and my expectations for him is to do absolutely nothing. We're just going to sit here, take it all in, and naturally what's going to happen is our dogs are going to start to mellow out. They're going to start to chill out and understand that we're doing nothing. Yes, it's not going to be as easy as this. You're going to get some whinging, you're going to get some whining, you're going to get some darting and pacing around. Just remember, all you need to do is keep bringing your dog back and resetting them to this picture. Oh, really quickly, guys, whilst I've got your attention, if you have a gun dog breed and you're sat there thinking, surely it shouldn't be this hard, download our free Pet Gun Dog Handbook. It's going to go into detail on why these things are happening and give you practical ways in which you can deal with them so that you don't run into these problems in the future. All you have to do is click the link in the description below and it's going to direct you straight over to the handbook. Lead on, at the side of you. You just sit down, take it in, you know, you can go on your phone if you want to, that's fine. Just let your dog just understand that doing nothing is what we're doing right now. We don't want to be giving our dogs any feedback, so don't be talking to them, don't be going, come on now, settle down, switch off. Just let them figure it out for themselves. Because the more feedback you give them, the more it's going to have the opposite effect. The signs that I'm looking for from Sid is I just want him to be in a nice, calm mindset. So that would be him eventually at the point of laying down and just, you know, switching off, not really interacting with anything else around him. However, I would still take this for a win if this was your dog at home, if they are just sat, not really giving a crap about anything, just chilling out, taking it in, having a look around, that's also absolutely fine. Some small signs of decompression to look out for could be your dog yawning and actually getting to the point of wanting to settle down. You might see them start to circle around a little bit in the space that they're at and then eventually drop down into a down position. That also can be a really telltale sign that they're about to switch off. Their breathing is also going to start to calm down and just get into a nice calm state. Something that I notice a lot about with Sid when he starts to settle down is he'll start to get a bit tippy-tappy with his feet, and then he'll drop to the floor and he'll just switch off. No matter how small, any sign of decompression is progress. Now, you might be sat there thinking, what actually is the point in doing this? Like, I didn't get a dog to go and sit on a bench and do nothing with it. Well, the reasoning for this is we're prepping our dogs and preparing them for being able to regulate. Regulating in our gundog breeds is such a difficult skill set for them to be able to develop. Their ability to regulate their nervous system and go from being super, super high energy, high state of cortisol, right the way down to super, super chill, super, super mellow. That is something that's not going to happen overnight. Therefore, we have to control the variables in order to make it easier for our dogs. Doing this is going to build your dog's tolerance for being calm, meaning they're going to offer it you more frequently. And it's going to be much easier for them the more you do it. And the best thing about it is it carries through to everyday life. Say you've just finished a big walk and you're out in the Peak District or the Lake District or something like that. You want to stop off at a pub and have a cheeky bevy, you can pop in there and your dog's just going to switch off and settle, and you don't have to worry about them. They're not going to be pacing about. They're not going to be reacting at every single dog that walks in. They're just going to switch off and do absolutely nothing. Say you've popped into a coffee shop and you're waiting in the queue, you can have your dog just naturally just switch off and not have to worry about them doing anything else that's going to cause a problem. Or you've stopped and you're talking to a friend out on a walk. Your dog is naturally just going to stay there and do absolutely nothing. They're not going to be digging at the floor, lunging on the leash, or barking at anything that walks past. They're just going to be doing this. Bit of a weird one, but something that we probably don't think about until we actually need it. But say you're going on a train or about to get on a bus. Whilst you're waiting for that train, your dog is naturally just going to be sat there doing nothing, and you can just chill out and wait for your train. Now, a really important note that I want to make here is this is very different to settling. Having your dog practice doing nothing, though, is still going to be a key part of it later down the line. Settling would be very different, as I would want my dog to completely switch off to the point where they're actually going to sleep. Here, I don't really mind if they're just looking around and observing the world around them. The key thing with settling is it's actually built up in the house, and that is going to be your building blocks and then transferring it outside. With this, you are able to just come out and sit and do nothing. With this one, however, we are creating a new expectation of what going outside actually means. We're teaching our dog that doing nothing is actually really, really good. A few mistakes to avoid when you are doing this exercise with your dog would be expecting instant calm. That's obviously not going to happen straight away. If every single time you brought your dog out and they're always expecting something high energy to happen, chances are they are going to really struggle with this in the initial stages. So please, for the love of God, do not expect this to happen instantly. Even if you manage to get your dog into a sit for just 5 minutes, that's a win. Something else might be you giving in too soon. You might just be on the cusp of your dog getting it, but then you give in. So wait this one out, and I can guarantee you it's worth its weight in gold. As a whole, being calm isn't a skill our gun dogs are born with. We have to teach them, but within doing so, the benefits will be monumental.